This is the whole setup. 8 cameras, 3 microphone systems, 2 portable lights, 2 travel tripods. I'm gonna show you every piece of equipment, what it was used for, and whether or not we actually used it. So every summer it's the same thing. I pack a bunch of equipment and cameras, lug it around with me while we travel, and then we just wind up recording everything on our phones. The cameras come home unused. But this year, Veronica had a plan. 3 live streams for her podcast, YourWay, a multicam salsa production, vertical videos for the whole month, a room that we have to build from nothing, and a cinematic interview with her abuela that I get one chance to get right. One bag, and it's not going under the plane. I was a ramp agent. I know how that luggage is treated. What might surprise you the most is that the most expensive thing I pack in this bag shot 1 scene, where the cheapest thing in this bag shot half of our trip. This is everything that I am taking to Colombia.
I have some difficult family members that the moment that they see a camera, they run for the hills. When we thought about the idea, when we were discussing the idea about bringing equipment to our trip, I thought we need to bring a POV camera or some kind of discrete camera that I can record my family with.
So to capture the POV and incognito content, I'm packing 2 things. Meta glasses, which I'm really excited to put to use. We've never done this in the field before. I know we're late to the party. And the DJI Nano, also so excited to use this puppy.
They're very good for when you are carrying too many things. There's a lot of going on around you and you want to capture that moment. It's very difficult just to pull out a big camera and a lens and that moment, just like you have it there with you the whole time and you just have to press record. We've been in this business for I don't know how many years and I haven't gotten very little footage of them, even though we go to Colombia every summer. So this time, because we brought that POV camera, we're able to record them more, which is what I wanted.
The Meta glasses can capture a true POV situation, but they don't get that full 4K quality and you're kind of stuck in a portrait dimensions. But the POV style and what you can capture in the situations that you can capture it make up for the lack of quality.
Also, when you are out and about and you're in public, you don't want to bring a lot of attention in Colombia because, you know, equipment is expensive. It's not the safest place. It's a good thing to have something that is discreet. They don't like to be recorded.
Now, the DJI Nano, on the other hand, is also incognito because you can wear it around your neck like a necklace. It also comes with a suction cup so you can stick it to any glass or metal surface that you can think of. And I was surprised how incognito this actually is wearing it around your neck. People feel as though they're not being recorded as obviously than if you were holding your phone up like this to try to get a video. It gets 4K resolution, you can get slow-mo, you can get hyperlapse, you can get time-lapse, and it is extremely stable footage and a wide angle. And this way you can capture a lot of movement, you can bring it with you anywhere, a true portable piece of equipment.
I couldn't believe it that I got away with it, that I got away with recording. I had to renew my Colombian passport. And I was able to even record when we were inside the office. And I was sitting there like waiting for my name to be called. And usually you cannot even like get your phone out of your pocket or your purse. But because I was wearing the Meta glasses, I was able to record some of that. I was able to record the moment I got out of the airport in Cali. My family, they all come to pick us up every time we travel to Colombia. And I can never have like my phone and get their reaction and hug them at the same time. It's just, you know, you're carrying kids and your luggage and all that. But this time, because I had my Meta glasses on, I was able to record my mom's reaction. And that was like very meaningful to me. This time, they didn't know that I was recording them, so.
My favorite piece of content that we recorded for the POV incognito has got to be our date night. Now, we released an edited vertical video of my date night with Veronica going to a movie, but it was so cool with the Meta glasses, how I was able to go order popcorn and hot dogs, sauce up my hot dog with the pineapple sauce, and the customary Colombian potato chip straw things that you have to top your hot dogs with, and then walk with the popcorn into the movie theater. The
room was totally dark. We could see the light that he was recording, so it looked pretty weird and got a lot of attention to him just because the room was dark.
It was truly magical, and getting that POV perspective was just so fun.
Having conversations face to face with people and for them not knowing that they're being recorded, yeah, those intimate moments, the hugs, the expressions, it just makes it so it's them that is so valuable, and it's something that goes away when you pull out your phone. We have a lot of those moments you can only experience through something like, you know, the Meta glasses that people don't know that you're recording them.
When it comes to live stream and multicam equipment, this was no easy task to figure out which equipment to bring. Now, in a moment, I'm going to talk about the cinematic interview that Veronica wanted, but because I knew that was also something we were going to record, I knew that I wanted at least one cinematic professional photography style camera. And for this, I chose the mirrorless Sony A7 IV camera with a G Master 35mm lens. I know. That was going to be my primary camera, or a nice wide angle anytime I needed it for a multicam setup. And we were gonna do two multicam setups, and one of them was a live stream.
I wanted to record my show, YourWay. We've been experimenting with having like three different camera angles when we record our show, just because it makes the whole recording like more dynamic. I would say like less boring than just a talking head video with one shot. We're gonna be in Cali. We're gonna be at all of these cool places. There's gonna be a place that they will let us record our live stream. I want to have a show at a public place. That's why I wanted the multicam setup. Anybody can have just one camera shot, but like when you're setting up three cameras, it's like, what kind of show is this? So I just wanted to feel like a diva in my own land. Important, I guess.
So for this, I would need an HDMI cable. Then, to make sure that I had full coverage for any multicam situation, OBSBOT came to save the day. And for that, I chose the OBSBOT Tail 2 and the OBSBOT Tail Air, two of my favorite Pro line OBSBOT cameras. I love these cameras for so many reasons. The Tail 2 specifically is an all-time favorite. It just looks cool. You can pop in a micro SD card to both the Tail 2 and the Tail Air, and you can record directly to those SD cards. There we go, look at that. They have AI tracking. They work with your phone, but they also work with a secret piece of equipment that we're not allowed to announce yet. That will be in a video that's releasing very soon. But with that camera switcher, you can actually also control both the OBSBOT and the Tail Air, as well as the Tiny 3. And if you didn't know, the Tiny 3 is a top contender for us when it comes to 4K webcams, so I had to bring two of those puppies. I knew that all of those could plug into a multicam, camera switching, live stream situation, and I would be good to go no matter what environment I encountered, no matter what experiment Veronica threw on me. We actually did 3 multicam setups while we were in Colombia. I cannot believe how productive we were. And I had a favorite and one that was the most painful. The one that was the most painful was a salsa dance lesson that I took. I am not a dancer, and Veronica was behind the scenes with another camera commenting on my dancing.
You don't need to move your hips that much because you're not a woman.
I think my favorite one was the salsa lessons. I have been planning the whole thing. That was a hard one. Not only the technical that at the beginning wasn't, working right, but the hard one because I was not the main character performing in front of the camera. It was Steven, so there was a little bit of convincing I had to do. At the end, it was just so fun to see him dancing and to see the cameras following him around.
My favorite has got to be the interviews that we set up with Veronica's abuela. I thought it was classy, timeless, and a perfect example for a type of interview that anyone can set up in their living room to capture stories or intimate moments with friends and family members, to start a podcast. And I just loved it. It was so meaningful for me. And we've been wanting so bad for years now to capture Veronica's grandma specifically on camera. She's now in her 90s. We also did a live stream podcast episode from a really cool restaurant called Alma Romero, which was also very noteworthy. The DJI Mic Minis are my favorite because they will sync up to any DJI camera like the Nano and the Osmo Pocket 3 that we brought without needing a receiver. The transmitter microphones just sync up perfect. I'm wearing one right now. And I also brought RØDE Interview Pros with me. These are my favorite microphones, and I highly recommend them for travel and conferences specifically because you can record directly into the microphone by pressing a little record button. You can also connect the Interview Pro to a camera or to a camera switcher board or even to my computer if I needed to. And now moving on to the cinematic and interview setup. I've already mentioned the Sony A7 IV, and that is the main one that we needed for that cinematic interview shot. Now, a cinematic interview, however, does benefit from having a multi-camera angle, so you truly get kind of that documentary style setup.
I wanted to bring the best camera we had in the studio for my grandma. It was my idea to record her in an interview style. I had to lie to her for her to say yes, but she finally said yes. It was just important for me that she would have a nice camera, and then like different camera angles as well.
Sony A7 IV for the primary person, where we really want that crisp photographic look with a nice blurry background. For that, we used for Veronica's abuela.
You know, she's getting old, and maybe like one day, you know, she's gonna live forever, but maybe one day she's not gonna be with us anymore. So I just want to be able to look at that footage and look at all of the little details on her face.
The tail 2 would serve perfectly as a nice wide angle shot. And now in this case, we use the tiny 3 for Veronica in that living room intimate cinematic interview scene. And that's because we donated and gave away that tail air camera to the salsa instructor, Carlos.
I wanted to have a nice setting, so we had to practically remodel that whole area for it to look the way that we wanted it to look, but it was worth it. I got rid of all of our furniture because it was old, and we had this green couch that I absolutely hated. We were like, okay, now what? We did it. We are going to have to spend some time and get some furniture so we could condition this place as a mini studio that we can use to record the interview and to record, you know, content when we travel there. It took a few days for us to build that space so it would be nice to record and it will look good on camera.
I've been kind of smuggling lighting equipment and different equipment down there. So we did have a couple lights there already. We had some newer LED panel lights that I love with soft boxes. And of course, if you would like a link to all of this equipment that I'm covering in this video, just comment travel gear right where you're watching and I will send you those links. Now, the lighting that we brought needed to be portable, it needed to be powerful enough to light a scene, and it also needed to be versatile. I was so impressed by this newer FS60B. This thing is so lightweight. You can basically fit it in your back pocket, especially if you take this little attachment at the front off. And it has that classic COB photography light attachment with this fun little softening dome at the top of it. And this thing is very powerful. Seriously works as a full-blown cinematic key light. And then I was also really excited about Neewer's inflatable tube light that we just can't have enough fun with. Between those two lights, I knew I would be able to light up any scene that we needed to. So I was really able to shape an awesome scene. Everyone looked flattering and nice.
At the beginning, she was very nervous, and then it just kind of relaxed into it and started answering the questions, sharing memories, and not being so self-conscious about the way she looked or the cameras around her. I think that it happens to all of us that after a while, you just get into the conversation that you forget what's going on in that moment. But also after that, I had my mom and my brother there. I'm like, I'm going to ask them some questions as well. So they sat down and answered some questions. I mean, the whole moment, the whole thing was just very meaningful to me. And then there was this moment that I was crying, you know, with my brother. I got very emotional, but I cry for everything. I'm constantly crying.
And then finally, for the movement, action, and time-lapse shots, we had to bring our trusty Osmo Pocket 3 because this thing is great for all sorts of shots that you can get. The joystick allows you to get some really cool panning and tilt shots because this thing is great for all sorts of shots that you can get. Those classic exterior shots of restaurants, of the salsa studio, but then also it's really great for gear explainers, for behind-the-scenes footage. It's nice in different ways.
So I got the Nano here around my neck, and I was following Steven and Luna throughout the airport, and I got time lapse of them just going through the airport and going up and down the escalators and all of that. That was a fun thing to record.
And then both the DJI Nano and the Osmo Pocket 3 have amazing stabilization. They do great with movement, and they also both capture slow-mo, time-lapse, and hyperlapse shots like beasts, como bestias. So when I look at everything from the bag that I brought, the equipment that shot the most by far was the DJI Nano and the Meta glasses. And those each cost around $400 US, compared to just the lens for the Sony camera is $1,500. So about half the price. Now, while you really can't beat that photographic, blurry background, sharp image that you get from a photography lens, when it comes to traveling, when it comes to being on the go, when it comes to be able to just to grab content whenever, however, by any means necessary, the cheaper cameras take the cake and the sprinkles. Now, if you were packing for a trip right now and you could only take 1, 2, okay, maybe 3 things from this video, my vote for you would be the DJI Nano, the inflatable tube light from Neewer, and the DJI mic minis. So unlike every other summer where I've packed a bunch of stuff that I bring home unused, this time everything I packed, I used. I can't believe it. So I can't say that next time there's something that I would leave home. I would bring all of this stuff with me again. However, if I had to choose one thing to maybe not bring with me next time, surprisingly enough, it might be the professional Sony camera. It's heavy, it's expensive, has a lot more liability to it, and it only captured a very small percentage of our entire 30 days in Cali. I've been lucky enough to go to Colombia for years now with Veronica to visit her family, who has truly become my family. I've been adopted as an official Colombian by the people there. They call me Rodolfo. And I found it to be so delightful that this time we actually filmed so much. We filmed our favorite foods. We filmed our favorite experiences. We filmed our favorite people. And we got it from so many different perspectives and dimensions, and all in very high quality that even 5 years ago was just not imaginable when it comes to digital video. For me, I just know that this is priceless, that there's not a price that you can put on these memories that we were able to capture. I think that the most important thing of all for me was what we captured and what we are going to talk about in the video that's coming up next week.
My abuela has stories that nobody in my family has on video. Not written, not recorded, just her. Maybe you have somebody like that, a grandparent, a parent, a friend that you've known since you were a kid. In the next video, we turn an empty corner of our apartment in Cali into a 3-camera studio, build a backdrop from scratch, and sit my family down. We'll show you all of it so you can do the same thing. So go watch the next one and then go do it.